just stuff to think about.
Here's another depiction, so just so you can visualize the patterns that happen within a toroid of a magnetic field. And what do you know? What a coincidence that from a geocentric position, all the planets happen to move in this exact same model. Here's Mercury and Venus and Saturn and Uranus all fitting perfectly within that exact same pattern in the magnetic field. It's probably just a coincidence that all the planets over their cycles happen to fit perfectly within the geometric expression of a magnetic field examined in a ferrocell. Okay, so every magnetic field has what's called a block domain wall or an inertial plane. It's a plane of inertia that cuts through the middle of the magnets, the middle of the toroid. This exists in all magnetic fields ever. Okay, now on a flat Earth, we can look at the magnetic field we have on the Earth, and it works perfectly with the Earth being inside the dielectric plane, and we match the magnetic flux data on the flat projection, which shows the top half of the toroid perfectly. But your model, according to Harvard, still cannot explain the magnetic field on the globe. So can you please explain where the inertial plane is on the globe? Yeah, there's a vortex that extends all the way up throughout the magnetic field. Right? So do you see the pictures right here?
Yeah.
You see the top right of the ferrocell images? Now look at the top right. Now look at the actual Earth's data over top of flat projection. You want to skate past it, but Harvard says that we do not have a working model for the magnetic. No, so where's the black inertial plane on the globe, though? Where is this on the globe?
Can I just
where's this on the globe?
Screen share then?
And where's that same data?
He's going to show a cartoon with the magnetic
projected
field.
on a globe?
Answer. What's up?
Where's that same data you just showed? That those lines moving. Where's that same data? So we can see the pattern of that data on a globe.
It goes every which way. You can go to bobwins.com and you can look at it.
The axis of evil was first found in the data of the WMAP observatory. Back then, there were even some extreme ideas about this. For instance, that the universe has a geometry of a 3D donut. It wraps around on itself around that axis, but observational evidence doesn't really confirm that. Also, there were less extreme ideas. It could be just an artifact on WMAP observations. But the next spacecraft, Planck, that also had a better resolution, showed this anomaly as well. Now that's a problem.
One option is that our understanding of the universe, or at least some of its aspects, is either completely wrong or incomplete, and that the explanation requires new exotic physics. But there are also more boring but more probable options.
Observatories.
You're taking some kind of weird, pictures of magnetic fields that you don't understand, that you can't explain. You're saying, there you go, debunk that. Well, look, I've got snotty tissue here, debunk that. This is exactly what you're doing.
This is the magnetic data of the Earth that matches the ferrocell images, and your model can't explain it today. Harvard, Stanford, Yale all agree.
So for those who are new to this topic, let me add a little context. So there are problems with the Earth having a molten core. No one has ever drilled past 8 miles below the Earth's surface. Therefore, we have not empirically verified if this is true. Also, molten metals cannot be magnetized. Anyways, let's watch some frogs float due to the manipulation of their magnetic field. This is crazy. So if you've ever heard anybody talking about magnetic fields versus gravity or something like that, here you go. It's not completely science fiction. And what's really interesting is what they say at the end. They could do this with a human without harming them.
Don't walk, don't touch anything, please.
There is no problem with putting a man, to force a man by this magnetic levitation to fly in the air. So technically, we can do it with you without any problems.
I will now show you a short video of former MIT physics professor Walter Lewin explain this quite clearly.
So what holds our world together? Well, on the nuclear scale, 10 to the minus 12 centimeters, very important are the nuclear forces. On an atomic scale, up to thousands of kilometers, it's really electric forces that hold our world together. But on a much larger scale, planets and stars and the galaxy, it is gravity that holds our world together. And now you may say, that's very inconsistent with what you just told us, because didn't you tell us that D cancels if you compare gravity with electricity?
Yes, but keep in mind that most objects in the universe have only a very small amount of charge per unit mass. The Earth and Mars have each a charge of about 400,000 coulombs. The gravitational force between them is therefore about 17 orders of magnitude larger than the electric force. So even though our immediate surroundings are dominated by electric forces, including your own body for that matter, the behavior of the universe on a large scale is dictated by gravity.
As you heard the professor state, gravity does not take place until we start talking about a moon orbiting a planet, the planet orbiting a sun, or stars orbiting the center of their galaxies.